Well, here we are again. Another new start, I suppose. It's been kind of a crazy year. For those that don't know, or just tuning in, I suppose, this project all started back in 2017. Basically kind of a dream track project for myself. Kind of something to keep me occupied in the backyard. Had a few hurdles along the way and several restarts. The first hurdle was I cheaped out and used some very old Portland cement that I had on hand, and the original mixes all were too brittle and fell apart. So in 2018 I had to redo this completely, and then everything has held up pretty well. And then 2019 my oldest daughter came down with a serious illness that affected her vision. We spent a couple years trying to narrow it down. Found out she had an immune disorder, which is not life-threatening, but there was a lot of diseases that were very scary they had to check for first. And then so several times I restarted and we got to here, and then this year she had to take her in this January to have a cataract removed, which is very odd for a 20-year-old. And then they spotted something weird on her test, which looked like it could be leukemia, which of course was terrifying. But after some serious blood tests and a blood doctor and her rheumatologist and oncologist and everybody conferred that they don't think it's leukemia. They just think it was a weird reaction she was having to all her other medications. So anyway, so we're back on track, and right before I was ready to start, then we all came down with COVID, which she was the first one to come down with it, and of course she's on 2 different immune suppressants, which really isn't good to have COVID and be on 2 immune suppressants, but they put her on Paxlovid and she's done okay. I caught COVID taking care of her and my son, who also got COVID, and I'm at the end of COVID now, and well, here we are. I'm ready to get back to this project and really get started. I'd like to finish it. Well, I guess before we get started finishing, we should start with an update on what I've done and how well things have held up. I've added this bridge. This was one of the biggest projects I've added to this so far. The key thing to this bridge was I wanted it to be able to support people, but still look like it was in the right scale for the trucks. If I had to do it all over again, I would not have put these small runners on it. They look great, but they do not hold up to foot traffic. So I'll probably end up removing those and restaining it, or just leave what stays and stain where they fall off. But other than that, the bridge has held up really well. Some good shots of it. I want it to kind of look like an old-fashioned bridge, but again, like I said, hold people's weight, which has no problem with that. These are some bridges I was working on when I was building the quarry. They still need some braces and finishing. I think I put these in right before the leukemia scare, so they've kind of been sitting untouched. Quarry's still holding up well. This is the youngest of the concrete. So is all the drainage ditch. The oldest of the concrete, which went in 2018, is over here, and as you can see, it's still here. Didn't fall apart, didn't decompose, didn't rot away. The rain has taken some wear on the paint, but everything else has held up fine. The holes that are in it are ones I put in it for plants. The only problem you have is if you're near a tree, you're gonna get cracking. The ground does move. When the ground moves, the tree roots move or grow, it's gonna crack the concrete. That's just the way it is. But so far so good. I do have some sort of bug out here. Let me see if I can get that will eat through the concrete. It's a beetle, and it'll find a soft spot in the concrete either from the inside or the outside and dig a nice clean hole out. Then there's other places where there's sand pockets and stuff like that that will rot out. Normally I patch these up later. Like I said, I've just been occupied with other things. Here's another big tree crack. But for the most part, the rocks are still here. It's been 4 years and they're holding strong. I mean, even the paint's held up pretty well considering the torrential rain we get. This over here, I'm not sure what kind of paint I used on it. It fell apart pretty quickly. It only took a month or so. The next thing I'm going to try is Behr at Home Depot has come out with a concrete stain, which is non-acidic, so it doesn't require any special treatment. I'm going to try it next. I did a wood stain over here. I don't know if it shows up on camera, it's more orange. And it has held up really well compared to the paint around it. Where it's unchipped is just Behr, is just the stain on Behr concrete. And where it's chipped off is where it was stained on top of paint. So the paint fails, but the stain doesn't. So I'm going to go with a concrete stain next. I plan on doing a lot of resurfacing on these, changing them up some. And then as I add buildings to them, of course, I'll chip away and then repair, like I had to do with the bridges. The bridges I installed over here, I'm not sure if they're on video or not. I'm truthfully not even sure what my last video was. I had to chisel away the rock to get them to sit in there the way I want, so I'll need to come back and repair all these areas. These bigger bridges that I put in, I had to chisel away rock, and I'll have to come back in and repair all of that. And like I said, as I add buildings, I'll probably have to chisel away rock and reshape. But and then at the end of that, I'll restain it all with the Behr stain, and we'll see how well that works. I've added some flat areas. I want to put some buildings in between these trees. So I took some of the excess rock I have around the yard. But anyways, I think that's about it. Other than maybe what's out back. I think we could walk out back real quick and I can show you the few things I've done out there and wrap this video up. This is where I dump all my excess broken concrete, and it's kind of a little crawler area. And I put in a bridge. Dug these trenches out. But anyways, I guess I'll see y'all in the next video. Hopefully I'll have that out real soon. As long as I don't get a rebound COVID, I should be continue working. So, see you then.